just going to show you quick how to inflate Bobo balloons. So these are these flat, they'll feel kind of like plastic, almost like a really thin beach ball. And then they have this angled neck. So these are not latex, they're just a very thin plastic. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to just open the neck part like so. It might be stuck together, just kind of happens from changes in temperature, especially during shipping. If you're using an electric inflator, it's easy to pop them on accident and it's easy for them to get misshapen. So I kind of do recommend using a hand pump, but I also understand that that gets really tiring after a while. So just be very careful. You don't want to overstretch these. Because they aren't latex, they will not stretch quite as far and come back down. So you just want to make sure you get them to the nice round shape and then stop inflating. Also, if you push the size on them, they get fragile and they're more likely to pop. One interesting thing that I have noticed with these, if you inflate them with a machine, they tend to inflate a little bit crooked. I think it's just because the machine pushes out so much air, and so one side will stretch faster than the other. If you do it with a hand pump, they're going to be more evenly shaped, and I'll show you that as well. I noticed that more on the small 10-inch ones than I do on the larger ones. The 10-inch ones for sure. I just do these with hand pumps because then they are nice and round and they don't have kind of a weird side to them. One of the things you want to make sure of is that you have cinched the neck down onto the top of your valve. You only want to be putting air into this part of the balloon. You don't want to fill up the neck because you don't want the neck to stretch out. So just make sure that you kind of cinch that down. And then if you're using an electric machine, just fill it a little bit slower than you normally would, just to kind of let the plastic stretch a little bit. This is an 18-inch Bobo balloon. So as you can see, I'm stopping here. It doesn't get oblong like a standard balloon, so you can't blow it up really far and then shrink it back down. So you do want to stop when it's just kind of this nice round shape. You don't want to go much farther than that, or you'll risk popping it. So tying these is a little different. You're just going to take it and twist it, and then actually just stretch that like so. It just makes it easier to tie. And then just tie it similar to how you would a balloon. And you might end up with a little kind of a nub spot right there. That's totally fine because I like to take this and I like to tie it into the garland so you don't really see it anyway. I don't usually leave this like hanging out anywhere. So that's not going to be a problem. Just to kind of show you on the little guys, if I inflate this on the machine, it's going to come out a little bit crooked. And I actually inflated that a little too big even, just to kind of show you, but you can kind of see one side comes out a little crooked. And this happens sometimes. Sometimes the seam isn't perfectly down the center and they're not perfectly round. And again, it's just because of the type of plastic that it is, so don't worry too much about that. But if you want them to be more round shaped, or you want this seam to be more centered, just use your hand pump for inflating them. And then I'm gonna do the same thing. And again, this one got a little bigger. This is a little bigger than 10 inches. It's bigger than I would inflate these. So just go a little bit smaller on those. There. Like that. If I'm inflating it with a hand pump, again, just making sure that you are all the way past the neck. Don't put air into the neck. Same as with the machine. So I'm not sure how well you can see the difference in shape because these are clear, but this one's more sort of like odd shaped and this one's more round. So with the small ones, I do recommend hand pump for these so they're nice and round. Once you get them into your garland, you probably won't notice as much. So don't panic if it's a little oblong, because once they're in here, it's much harder to see that.